The Prophet by Kahlil Gibran. You arrive at a harbor just as twilight settles over the water, watching a ship prepare for departure. Around you, a small crowd has gathered to bid farewell to someone they clearly cherish. A teacher, perhaps, or a guide who has walked among them for years. Their faces carry that particular mixture of gratitude and sorrow that comes when wisdom must take its leave. As you observe this scene, you find yourself wondering, what truths could be so profound that an entire community would gather to hear them one final time before they sail away into memory? This is the setting Kahlil Gibran creates in The Prophet, where a wise man named Al-Mustafa shares his deepest insights about love, children, giving, and the human condition before departing the city of Orphalese. Written as a collection of poetic teachings, the work presents timeless wisdom through the voice of someone who has observed life with extraordinary clarity. What makes these teachings so enduring is not merely their beautiful language, but their ability to illuminate the contradictions and complexities that define our most essential experiences. In an age when we often seek simple answers to complex questions, Gibran's Prophet offers something more valuable: the courage to embrace the beautiful contradictions of being human. Consider first his teaching on love, where Al-Mustafa reveals love's dual nature with startling honesty. He speaks of love as a force that both crowns and crucifies, that grows and prunes with equal intensity. You might recognize this truth in your own experience, how the same relationship that fills you with joy can also expose your deepest vulnerabilities. Gibran doesn't present this as a flaw to be corrected, but as love's essential nature. The Prophet suggests that trying to have love's gifts without its challenges is like wanting the warmth of fire without accepting that it also burns. This understanding transforms how you might approach relationships. Rather than seeking love that protects you from all discomfort, you begin to see that meaningful connection requires a willingness to be changed by it. The Prophet's wisdom suggests that when you love someone, truly love them, you allow them to touch the parts of yourself that need growth, even when that growth feels uncomfortable. Love becomes not a safe harbor, but a courageous voyage into deeper versions of yourself. Equally profound is Al-Mustafa's teaching about children, which challenges fundamental assumptions about ownership and control in relationships. He declares that children are not possessions of their parents, but arrows shot forth by life itself, seeking their own targets. This metaphor illuminates a beautiful paradox. The more skillfully you aim, the more completely you must let go. Your role becomes not to determine where the arrow lands, but to ensure it flies true and far. This wisdom extends beyond literal parenting into any relationship where you hold responsibility for another's growth. You might be a teacher, mentor, manager, or friend, and in each case, the Prophet's insight applies. The deepest care involves preparing others to travel paths you cannot walk with them. It requires the profound humility of accepting that your influence has limits, and that honoring someone's potential sometimes means stepping back to let them discover it. In our culture of helicopter parenting and micromanagement, this teaching feels both radical and necessary. You're invited to consider how often you confuse control with care, or mistake your own anxiety for genuine concern about another's well-being. The Prophet's arrow metaphor suggests that true guidance involves helping others develop their own aim rather than insisting they target what you would choose for them. The teaching on giving reveals another essential paradox. Al-Mustafa distinguishes between giving from your surplus and giving from yourself, between transactions and transformations. When you give only what you can easily spare, you remain unchanged by the act. But when you give something that matters to you, something that costs you, both you and the receiver are altered by the exchange. The Prophet suggests that this costliness is not a burden to be minimized, but the very source of giving's power to create connection. This insight becomes particularly relevant in our modern context of convenient charity and digital donations. You can contribute to causes without ever encountering the people you're helping, transfer money without feeling the weight of sacrifice. While such giving certainly serves important purposes, the Prophet's teaching invites you to consider what might be lost when generosity becomes too easy. Perhaps the discomfort of meaningful giving is not a design flaw, but a feature. the mechanism by which the act changes you as much as it helps others. You begin to see how Gibran's teachings consistently point toward the same fundamental truth, that growth and discomfort are not opposing forces, but partners in the dance of becoming more fully human. The prophet doesn't offer wisdom designed to make life easier, but insights that help you navigate its inherent difficulties with greater grace and understanding. These teachings feel especially urgent in our current moment, when we're often encouraged to optimize away life's challenges rather than learn from them. We have apps to minimize discomfort, strategies to avoid difficult conversations, and systems designed to give us what we want without requiring us to grapple with what we need. Yet Gibran's prophet suggests that this very discomfort, in love, in letting go, in meaningful sacrifice, is where wisdom is born. The key takeaways from Al-Mustafa's teachings are both simple and revolutionary. First, that the difficulties inherent in love, parenting, and giving are not problems to be solved, but mysteries to be lived. And second, that your willingness to be changed by these experiences is often more valuable than your ability to control their outcomes. These insights invite you to approach relationships not as projects to be managed, but as opportunities for mutual transformation. As you consider these teachings, you might ask yourself, in what areas of your life are you trying to experience growth without discomfort, or love without vulnerability, or influence without the courage to let go? How might embracing the prophet's wisdom about life's beautiful contradictions change the way you show up in your most important relationships? Like that ship departing the harbor at twilight, profound wisdom often comes to us briefly before sailing away into the vast ocean of memory. Yet something essential remains, not just the specific insights, but the deeper recognition that life's most important truths often reveal themselves in paradox. You carry forward not just answers, but a new comfort with the questions that matter most, and perhaps that is the greatest teaching of all.